Hello everyone. Uh, as we have seen a lot of applications of technology, or we can say we have seen e-procurement, role of e-procurement in P2P cycle, right? So procurement to pay cycle. So today we will discuss and we will see actually many success stories, or we can say it will help us in uh, to see the applications of technology, information technology predominantly in sourcing. So first, very important aspect as we have all experienced also when it comes to supply chain sourcing. Walmart is the best example. So it's a multinational retail corporation. So how they have like utilized, technology. Walmart have used a Coupa cloud-based platform, right? So basically they wanted to integrate the spend management software. We all know the scale of Walmart with which it is working. So many retail stores working with the more thousands and thousands of suppliers. So keeping diverse products, many products, including their own brands, in the retail. So they have to analyze, their spend management. Okay, so the need of some kind of system which was realized in Walmart is to integrate spend management software with sourcing process of Walmart. Okay, so one issue can be when it comes to technology or e-services. One issue can be like how to start digitizing, or how to use technology for a particular process. The another issue can be like the process is already in place and we want to now add some technology to sub process, or in addition to the processes, how we can make other activity tech oriented. So this is very interesting example here. How the spend management, we have already discussed the complexity of spend management, but here how the cloud based platform can be used for business spend management, which Walmart has used to integrate the spend management software with sourcing process of Walmart. Okay, so Walmart has been buying so many things day in day out, so how this can merge with their sourcing process, right? That too cloud based. So it brings the cost conscious mindset to Walmart's business spend activities. We have seen that in spend management, our intention is to analyze the amount, the value spent on each item, each supplier, right? So how frequently, and from which business unit. So this gives a bird eye view on annual spend across items, across categories in the retail chain. So they employ through their omni channel. The moment we are now going omni channel, more is the complexity. So when we say omni channel, we all know that when any organization is ready to sell the product through many channels and even cross channels, like this is mostly called omni channel. You can buy through mobile, through websites, through physical stores, and you try to integrate all of them. That means I can buy online, go to the store and buy, right? Or I can just order from mobile and get the home delivery, or it can be other way around, or it can be like I want to return, I can buy from store and return online, or I can buy online, return on the stores. So the whole system is integrated one. So this, like to give good experience to customer. These days organizations are not saying satisfaction, but they are saying experience. So to provide good customer experience, this omni channel strategy is very important these days. But this comes with its own complexities and challenges, like for integrating every transaction, every buying, one has to have good softwares, like to do the accounting. So this spend management for the Walmart, like that employ through omni channel. Everyday low price is the mantra of Walmart. This approach to serving millions of customers each week. So This is how, like, it can help, companies, in their spend management software. So other very interesting exercise is, global sourcing using artificial intelligence that enables the sourcing marketing research team, right? In the governance structure, we have seen these days companies are dedicating one section to the supply market research, right? That's very important. The word before marketing sourcing, it is very important that it's a supply market research team so that they can identify the right source for specific supply product, right? The risk associated to it, and then evaluate savings against corresponding risks, right? So how we can do that? Gather and capture big data to analyze effectiveness of different sourcing strategies. Different sourcing strategies can be, should I buy from the global supplier or should I go for domestic, should I go for single source or should I go for multiple source. If the supplier is located global and that is the only supplier, and it's a foreign supplier, it brings the other issues of, like, currency fluctuation or exchange rate fluctuations, or, like, if some natural disaster happen, it can be exposed to many kinds of risk. So what we can do is, like, we can keep analyzing data about that, and why marketing research team is required, so that they can assess, like, if this is a product, if this is a sole source, what is the risk involved in buying from that. It can be ranging from financial terms to the other operational terms. Okay. On the other hand, if we have too many suppliers, right, that also located all across globe, which can generate big data to analyze, right, there we need some kind of sophisticated tools or artificial intelligence based tools which can gather the data effectively, so that we can analyze which sourcing strategies are good to adopt. That's where artificial intelligence come into picture. So another aspect of here sourcing is using econometrics or machine learning based tools, like classification based algorithm capturing macroeconomic factors, right? This can be considered while identifying or anticipate the global supply trend, right? So here, in IIT Madras, we have been doing the research in how we can catch hold of some commodity prices like steel and copper. So how this predictions can happen, using machine learning based predictive analytics, because there are so many factors. When we talk about steel, the steel price, like, let's take example of auto sector in any country. For the matter, let's say auto sector in India. So we all know the steel is a major component in any vehicle, and the prices of steel is something like which would affect, the first of all buying decision, and then if steel prices would go up or fluctuate a lot, right, that it has to be transformed as a higher price to the end customer also. Now we see that how such fluctuations, such kind of risks, can actually impact the whole supply chain, right, till the end consumer who is going to buy the vehicle. So in that case, if one can anticipate the prices, right? For example, the steel price, it's not necessarily like, it depends only on the supply demand condition, or you can say only on the what is there in any exchange, either London exchange or any other exchange. It might be impacted by how this have been fluctuating in major economies, or like or the countries, like which had been or which have been using the steel or producing the steel or have more iron mines, like how it is happening in China. So there can be many macroeconomic factors one has to consider to see that how these factors are impacting the steel prices. So in that case, our old time series method or classical time series method might not work, because we really don't know what macroeconomic factor would be impacting, on the prices. So here, machine learning based algorithms are very useful, right? So that we can incorporate, important factors, and we can see that, what can be the price trends. And once we predict, this can be the price, so that would help the purchasers, the buying companies, to plan for their sourcing, how much to order, when to order, can we delay the order because prices are going up, or the prices are going to uh, go down. This is the right time to buy in bulk, right? So such decisions would become easier for companies, to to take if such analytics would be there. So these are the another set of examples which we are talking about, technology, artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms brings. The other very interesting thing in sourcing is that, we would see that in the subsequent sessions also, the negotiation contract, so any company, for a matter, if we will say company like Walmart, it has been dealing with thousands and thousands of suppliers. They have to deal with so many contracts. For each category, there would be hundred of invoices that are governed by the purchase orders. So just imagine, a company, which is having uh, so many suppliers, right? So they are the transaction happening per day could be enormous in form of contracts, invoices, purchase order, right? This is one complexity which every supply chain entity, especially in purchasing and sourcing, have to deal with. But many a times we have seen the technology is still penetrating. So many companies are dealing with small scale supplier or MSMEs, like, micro, small and medium enterprises, which cannot or which might not afford to adopt technologies. In that case, some of these supply chain entities might be still dependent on email attachments, sending the things on email, or using Excel files, like, to consolidate, right? Or the ERP system cloud platform. So the idea is, whenever this documents, either in the hard copy format, scanned versions, or in the standardized formats like extensible markup language or EDI, electronic data interchange. So there can be variety of, modes by which, this transaction happens. Now, if industry, if a company, the buying organization is dealing with so many products and, so many contracts and related document day in day out, all are coming from different modes, different versions, right? It is very, very difficult, to consolidate them. So while doing that, they might be using manual. It takes a lot of manual processing time. And if, the data is coming from, different sources in different forms, there are chances, of errors happening there. So all these issues would, result in inefficiencies, isn't it? So what is the solution here? Thanks to our this new technologies, like if, we can have, if some contract or negotiation summaries, if that come will in the text form, we can use natural language processing, to convert the data, and send to the documentary. If we want to write smart contracts, like, when transaction and happen, automatically, the payment should go after, cross checking, the order is as per purchase order, it is as per the requirement of customer. The blockchain can the contract, smart contracts can be written on the blockchain platform, and it can be done. And at the same time, this is the because the things are coming from different forms, right? Buyer might be interested, to extract the required information, right, there are forms of like, either a scanned version, or even if it is a soft copy, I might not like to, retrieve the whole document. I might be interested in knowing, the supplier name, or I might be interested, a particular field to be extracted from the form. So here, there are optical code readers are very useful, right? So because we want to extract required data from multiple source, right? Now, extracting data is one kind of technology tool which is required. Now, after extraction, like, transforming the data in specific structure format, right? It's another requirement. So this is for because we want to extract, and then we want it to be formed in a structured format. I might want to analyze, I want to like list down, right? I can utilize the information sitting in the repository. So everything, format. So I want to analyze all these things within seconds, right? So that we can take prompt decisions, right? For example, at the time of negotiation, a company might like to negotiate multiple suppliers simultaneously. So it need like, information simultaneously coming, like, from repository, how supplier has been doing in the past, right? From the purchase order, or maybe from the request for quotations, what are the terms and conditions suppliers have been written. So all those information, like, are very important to be displayed in seconds, so that negotiation can be uh, progressed in more effective manner. Okay, so in such case, you see these tools, these technologies are really useful because it reduces our processing time. Manual processing time can be reduced. Granular level of data for spend analysis can be considered, right? If one wants to, even the minute purchase we have done. So with such tools, we can even go to the granularity of small purchases. It certainly reduces frauds because, now the timestamps in the blockchain kind of activities would be there, and it would also avoid any errors to be happen while manual entry by the supply chain entities, that can be avoided. And if we will have smart contracts in place, we can just automate the payments. So one more thing is that, if we will have all these things in place, it would certainly enhance the supplier buyer relationship. Because when all these things will be in place, it would kind of bring the trust, among supply chain entity, and transparency. That would automatically leads to supplier buyer relationship, good supplier buyer relationship, right? And we all know that, how Amazon is bringing a new arena of Amazon business. What is that Amazon business? This is the largest aggregator of goods and service text enabled products in India, which is sourcing from more than 1 million sellers. We all are very much aware of how Amazon has transformed the shopping activity and even selling activity over the internet, right? We now can actually, as an end consumer, we can see all the products online and we can buy. So if similar provisions are there to business entities, right? For example, if, in B2B environment, such arrangements are there, for bulk buying, right? So for that case, Amazon has started revolutionizing e-procurement, where they will be serving, they are serving to their business customers, at the scale of 190 million products, right? So this is what, like, the features, the most important feature is Amazon Pay Later, right? And it offers multi-user accounts, bill to ship to credit extension, right? So basically the intention is to have a transparent pricing, access to quality deals, and enhanced control over expenses. So it is like, this is a drive, for business customers, again buyers, right? Not the end consumer buyers, but the business buyers, like who can actually do the shopping, with all this enhanced feature of Amazon Pay Later. So where, it provides convenience, control, flexibility, and ease in the procurement process. So because of these offerings, it has actually benefited to MSME sector of India, like micro, small, medium enterprises, right? Just imagine, like, if somebody wants to do business, right? You want to open up your, retail, or you want to open up the business, right? Serving to the customers, right? So you earlier you would go to the wholesale markets, or like, somewhere out, to avail good discounts due to bulk buying, right? So they didn't have, mostly this provision was not there for the business entity to to procure the products online. So this is very good initiative, and that too mostly, this MSME sectors, the major issue is, the capital investments, or the credit payments, right? So for such kind of sector, such e-procurement based issues are revolutionizing. So this is also very important. And if you see that, the other example here, like, Oracle EBS is again a web based portal which provides centralized procurement portal. So here, with the example of one construction company like Big Heights, like how such a web based portal, which is a centralized procurement portal, can help, the construction industry and their suppliers. So if a company called BH is suppose having global suppliers all located across the world, right? If, for dealing with, uh, such business, construction business, right? So the steps can go like that, suppliers can show interest and apply over portal, right? So that means there is a completely tech oriented activity. So when suppliers will show interest and apply, then pool of shortlisted suppliers after approval by, this company over this portal would be done. So based on some technical requirements, or, some other requirements, they would shortlist. Now, shortlisted suppliers. So the good supply management practices would say that as suppliers are applying through this portal, there should be data repository, either, definitely might be handling by EBS, but it can be made accessible to the buyers, right? So data repository will record, all the data of suppliers who have shown interest, and then, pool of shortlisted suppliers. Once this data repository is there, we can have a real time information. This is exchange, but real time information about what kind of suppliers are available, what are their competencies, right? And why they have not been shortlisted, right? Even such data is very important for future activities. So once it will be shortlisted, that all data also will go to the data repository. Then shortlisted suppliers are asked to submit request for information or request for quotations based on that. Even this is done over a centralized portal, procurement portal, where, the standard templates are there. So standard online templates are there where, the potential supplier can fill it and submit. Again, this thing also goes to the data repository, right? And then suppliers are invited for reverse auctions and negotiation. Now you see here the picture which I was trying to say just few minutes back, that, once we have all information on data repository, we can either conduct reverse auction. This company, construction company, which actually, we all know the construction sector is the most complex sector when it comes to procurement and purchasing. They actually call it, purchasing procurement as a projects. So they have to deal it as a project management activities. They can actually, invite the suppliers for reverse auctions or, any negotiations. So while conducting reverse auction or negotiation, you can see that, the data which is there, retrieving that data would be really fast, and you can actually negotiate simultaneously with many suppliers, right? So once you know suppliers are from which country, how they have quoted, right? So these are the global suppliers. So utilizing the this portal facilities, the analytics facilities in this data of this portal, one can actually award the contracts to the supplier which are located globally with the agreed currency of particular origin. Okay, so obviously when request for quotations are done, so every all the payment conditions in the RFQs can be plugged in, while negotiation one can actually see, which region supplier has shown interest, so everything is so transparent. And when you award the contract, you can award with agreed currency of particular region for the duration of the contract, so that will act as hedging. One can say that I would award the contract if the price would be in this currency and it would remain same for next 6 months or next 8 months, like without any change. So that's what we do hedging, or we can use any hedging strategy, like to manage the risk factors related to the exchange rate, because we are working in a global supply chain arena. So this is also very important activity about, so we have seen examples, right, from running the reverse auction and negotiation and managing global suppliers, right. We have also seen how small sector purchasing can be enhanced by allowing some kind of platforms like online buying, right. We have seen how the various technologies like text analytics also, along with AI, can be used to extract the information, right, from the supplier, and spend management. So these are the variety of applications of technology. So resources are provided down in the slides. One can access those documents and material to know more about the application. The very important thing is that when it is uh, as we are talking about sourcing and procurement, when it comes to technology, then it itself become the same question, how to procure the right technology, how to source the right technology. Okay, so the easiest thing is that first you please plan your procurement to pay cycle and analyze all the activities in cycle, identify where are the inefficiencies. So those inefficiencies can be identified, and then one can apply the right tool or the right technology. But when we apply a technology or e-procurement tool, what can be the performance, right? One can review whether our organizational spend has come down or not using that, right? So this is a supply management purview. Sorry. The buyer can view that whether my organizational spend has come down. One can also assess the performance of e-procurement as requisition to order costs, right, whether those costs have come down, because it involves lot of manpower to manually enter, right, check the documents, inspect the documents. So that also leads to a lot of cost, right? Ordering, administrative management costs, right? So requisition to order cost one can assess. One can access requisition to order cycles, right? How many cycles are involved, requisition to order, how many times, frequency of ordering, percent of off contract maverick spend. Off maverick spend is like the spend which has not been done in the standardized structured format accepted in any organization. Okay, so once that is there, one can assess those kind of spend and bring out the inefficiencies. life cycle and provenance of goods, right? So whatever a buyer is buying, how authentic that product is. Can I assess life cycle? Can I see the origin, the provenance, the origin of the product, right? Like IBM has been like, collaborating with retailers, the food retailers. You want to assess, let's say, like, from which gardens this mangoes or particular apples have come from, and even if we go one step back, one can assess, whether the product is organic, or or it has been like, any particular chemical has been injected. So those kind of provenance related things or life cycle related things, that can be assessed, if we want to implement the tool related to that. Other performance indicators can be whether errors have come down, whether rework has been reduced, right, defects have come down, or recall. Sometimes it is very difficult to reduce because it depends on the process what we are doing, right, or it's this thing. But is it easy to when recall has happened, is it easy to trace, the cause of, the problem which has led to the recalls. So those kind of indicators should be the performance of, e-procurement tools. So these are very important applications, which we can see across different sectors and companies. And once you have acquired the tool, one can see how its performance should be assessed, using various e-procurement tools. Thank you.